Welcome to P Stories. Tonight, I have a story that delves deep into the heart of Thai folklore. A tale of a quiet boy with an incredibly strong spirit and a monstrous entity that relentlessly pursued him. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a chilling account of betrayal, resilience, and the thin veil between our world and the supernatural. So, dim the lights, settle in, and let's journey back 37 years to a remote village in northeastern Thailand. Our story centers around Khem, a teenager whose personality was as quiet as the remote village he lived in. Khem was known for his unchanging, stoic expression, a rare smile that barely touched his lips. He was the youngest of two siblings, close to his older brother, Kao, and part of a tight-knit group of 5 childhood friends. Their village, deep in the countryside of northeastern region of Thailand, was isolated, far from the district center, with no electricity, unpaved roads, and communication largely limited to letters or telegrams. Travel was slow, often on foot or ox cart, and even bicycles were a luxury. As Khem approached his 15th birthday, his mother, worried about his unusually quiet nature, decided to consult Grandma Sang, the respected village shaman. Grandma Sang was a revered figure, known for her spiritual guidance and protective charms. Khem's mother wanted to know if anything awaited her son as he transitioned into adulthood, just as she had done for Kao when he turned 15. Grandma Sang's reading of Khem's birth date was immediate and unsettling. "Don't worry about him," she proclaimed. "This one was born with a strong spirit." In Thai belief, strong spirit refers to a strong-willed or strong-spirited person, someone incredibly resilient and difficult to influence or harm by malevolent spirits. The shaman explained that Khem's spirit was so formidable, nothing could easily sway him from his path. While reassuring, she also gave Khem a sacred necklace similar to his brother's, a protective charm. Soon after, Khem's parents left for a temple fair in the big district town 80 kilometers away, leaving the 5 children, Khem, Kao, Sing, Ming, and Puek, alone at Khem's house. The first night was eerily quiet. Unlike the usual sounds of crickets, birds, and distant dogs in the countryside, the silence was absolute, a profound stillness that unnerved everyone, though they couldn't articulate why. In the dead of night, Ming, Sing's younger sister, woke his brother to use the outdoor toilet. Sing, ever the mischievous one, accompanied him with a lantern, teasing her to hurry. Ming eventually handed him the lantern, asking him to hold it while she adjusted her clothing inside the outhouse. Suddenly, from inside the house, Sing heard Kao's voice. "Sing, what are you doing standing there?" Confused, Sing looked up and saw Kao, Khem, and to his horror, Ming standing by the kitchen upstairs. A chilling, familiar laugh echoed from the outhouse. "Hey, hey, hey, almost done." It was Ming's voice, but not Ming herself. Terror struck Sing. He threw the lantern and slammed the outhouse door shut, only to find it empty. No one was inside. He stumbled back into the house, frantic, accusing Ming of playing a cruel trick. But Ming vehemently denied it, explaining that she had seen him get up, grab the lantern, and go downstairs without a word, assuming he needed the toilet himself. The children were utterly confused and terrified. As they argued, the outhouse door which Singh had kicked open slowly creaked shut. Then it reopened just an arm's length before violently slamming shut again. Panic erupted. The last friend, Puk, who had been asleep in the house, came running, accusing his friends of dragging him out of his mosquito net with empty, smiling eyes. The group realized they had been targeted by something sinister. Cow, the eldest, bravely took charge, lighting every lantern and candle in the house. They stayed awake, huddled together until dawn. The next morning, the children decided to visit the local temple, a 20-kilometer drive in their family's tractor, a small, slow farm vehicle. They explained their terrifying night to Reverend Monk Pung. The monk, seeing a group of children, was initially skeptical, thinking they might be playing hooky. He gave them holy water for cleansing and advised them to maintain mindfulness, a concept of mindfulness and presence of mind crucial for navigating life, especially when facing danger. He did not, however, believe they were being haunted. On the way back, the mischievous Singh and Puk convinced the group to stop at a beautiful pond to play. Khem, ever expressionless, joined them. They played until late afternoon, realizing too late that darkness was falling. As their tractor slowly rattled down the forest road, anxiety grew. To soothe their fear, Cow led them in singing their favorite songs. But then, they heard it. Rustling sounds from the dense forest on either side, as if someone was walking alongside them. When they stopped singing, the sounds stopped. When they resumed, the footsteps returned. Suddenly, disembodied voices echoed from the darkness. "Where are you going, children?" A man's voice, a woman's voice, and then, most chillingly, an old woman's voice asking, "Where are you going, my dears?" The children fell silent, paralyzed by fear. The voices followed them persistently, but there was no one to be seen. Just as panic threatened to make them jump from the slow-moving vehicle, Khem, the quiet boy, suddenly shouted, "Mindfulness! Remember mindfulness!" Everyone began chanting, "Mindfulness, mindfulness, mindfulness," over and over, with Cow's voice rising above the rest. The chanting continued until they reached the village's edge. As soon as they stopped, the voices returned, closer than ever. "You're home already, my dears? You're home already?" Followed by a cackling laugh. Terrified, the children leapt from the tractor and ran headlong into the village. Only Khem and Cow remained. Khem remarkably turned to face the unseen voices, displaying no fear, a testament to his strong spirit. Upon reaching home, they lit every lamp and candle, huddling together in silence until morning. When their parents returned, they, along with the other children's parents, rushed to Grandma Sang. Grandma Sang dismissed the occurrences, a type of passing ill wind or bad luck. She insisted that Khem's strong spirit had protected them, otherwise someone surely had been taken. She tied sacred strings with a small charm on Khem and Cow's wrists, urging them never to remove them, and advised the children not to be out after sunset.
A few weeks later, the long-awaited temple fair arrived. It was an enormous event in the district town, 80 kilometers away. To make the trip feasible, Khem's parents arranged for the group to stay with their friend, Aunt Nim, who lived closer to the temple in the town. Aunt Nim's house, unlike their own, had electricity, which instantly made the children feel safer. The fair was vibrant, full of games, music, and performances. Singh and Purk, true to their nature, were busy flirting with girls. Then, a fifth girl joined their group, a well-dressed, refined girl named Paka. It was at this moment that something remarkable happened. Khem, who had never truly smiled in his life, broke into a wide, joyful grin. His friends, and even Grandma Seng, who was also at the fair, were astonished to see such an uninhibited display of happiness from the usually stoic Khem. Paka was, without a doubt, Khem's weak point. Khem, completely smitten, immediately invited Paka to meet again the next day. Paka explained she had to visit her grandmother. Khem, usually quiet, suddenly insisted that the whole group accompany Paka to her grandmother's house instead of going to the fair. His friends, surprised by his newfound enthusiasm, readily agreed. The next day, they took a shared taxi out of town to a quiet, somewhat remote road. Paka led them up a path to her grandmother's house. As they approached, the house struck them as gloomy, unwelcoming, and strangely adorned with altars and sacred threads, giving it an unsettling aura. Yet Paka's grandmother, Grandma Pong, was incredibly kind and welcoming, offering them snacks and drinks. As it grew late and they prepared to leave, Khem, walking behind the group, heard Grandma Pong's voice. "You found him, didn't you? The one with the strong spirit." Khem felt a shiver down his spine. How did she know about his strong spirit? As they rode back, her voice seemed to follow him, whispering, "Be careful, you with the strong spirit." The usually fearless Khem felt an unprecedented chill, something truly terrifying. Back at Aunt Nim's house, the children excitedly recounted their day, especially their visit to Grandma Pong. Aunt Nim's face darkened. "Where did you say you went?" she exclaimed. "Grandma Pong. She keeps spirit." She revealed that no one in the area dared visit Grandma Pong because she was a spirit keeper, a person who controlled or harbored a spirit. Paka, Aunt Nim explained, was the only one who didn't believe her grandmother kept spirit and often secretly visited her. The children, realizing they had eaten at a spirit keeper's house, were horrified. They spent the night sleepless, consumed by fear. The family returned home the next day. That night, the eerie silence from the first night returned. In the dead of night, Khem heard Paka's voice calling him from outside. "Khem, come out. I'm so tired. I came all this way for you." As Khem went to get ready, he turned back for a moment. When he looked again, an old hag with disheveled hair stood behind Paka, unseen by Paka herself. The hag's voice rasped. "You're tired, aren't you? Come with me. I'll take you somewhere comfortable." She violently grabbed Paka's arm, dragging her away effortlessly. Khem, lantern in hand, leapt through the window and ran after them, shouting at the hag to release Paka. Cow, hearing the commotion, woke their parents, and they all followed Khem. Khem, despite his desperate speed, could barely keep up with the hag, who seemed to float effortlessly through the forest. Paka cried for help, screaming that the hag was terrifying. Deep in the dark forest, the hag stopped. Around a small, dim fire, a group of figures, men, women, children, sat, seemingly eating. They invited Khem to join them. Enraged, Khem refused. "I'm not eating anything with you." The hag's face instantly transformed. Her skin became shriveled and pale, her eyes bloodshot, and her mouth stretched into a grotesque smile, revealing sharp, numerous teeth, saliva dripping. This was a spirit. The hag forced Paka to eat with them, consuming raw, decaying meat and internal organs. Then she turned to Khem. "You must eat too. If you don't, I won't release this girl." Khem, repulsed, was forced to eat 6 mouthfuls of the vile, raw food. After the 6th bite, the hag threw Paka aside. To Khem's horror, Paka looked up, her voice hardened. "Why are you pushing me away, Grandma? I'm starving." And then she let out a chilling laugh. Her face had changed. It was no longer Paka. The hag cackled. "You fool! Once I knew your weakness, I could lure you. Your strong spirit can't help you now." Khem, overwhelmed by the grotesque reality, fainted. Khem woke up at the local temple, covered in blood and emitting a foul, rotting smell. The monk there was troubled, stating that the evil that had latched onto Khem was beyond his power. Khem's parents immediately took him to Grandma Sang. Grandma Sang gave Khem a potion and holy water, causing him to vomit black, foul-smelling liquid and chunks of decaying flesh. She then instructed his parents to keep him confined to the house for 6 days, absolutely no leaving, and to ignore any calls for him to come downstairs. This, she claimed, would cleanse him.
Over the next 5 nights, Khem endured unimaginable torment. Each night, the hag, now taking on the form of Grandma Sang, appeared by his bedside. Khem was paralyzed, unable to move, as the hag taunted him, licked his body, sniffing and biting his flesh, telling him how fragrant he was, how close his body was to being hers. Saliva constantly drooled from Khem's mouth, making it hard to speak or cry out. During the day, Khem's friends visited, and he begged them to find Paka, feeling he might not survive. His friends, concerned, went to Aunt Neem, who then took them to Paka's parents. Paka's parents, hearing Khem's plight, agreed to go to Khem's house the next day, bringing Paka and her grandmother, Grandma Pong. Paka insisted Grandma Pong accompany them, claiming her grandmother knew how to help people in distress. On the 5th day, as the sun began to set, Paka, her parents, and Grandma Pong arrived at Khem's house. Khem, seeing Paka, tried to go down to her, but his parents, remembering Grandma Sang's strict instructions not to let him leave the house or let anyone suspicious in, refused. Grandma Pong calmly offered to go up to Khem, but then Grandma Sang appeared, sternly warning Khem's parents about evil things. She implied that Grandma Pong and her group were the ones trying to harm Khem. Khem's parents' trust in Grandma Sang forbade anyone from entering the house, letting Grandma Sang remain alone with Khem. That night, Khem, exhausted and feeling secure with Grandma Sang, finally drifted to sleep. He awoke to Grandma Sang's caring voice, asking how he was, but as he answered, a sharp pain shot through his stomach. He opened his eyes to see Grandma Sang licking his stomach, her nails digging into his arm. Her face was no longer kind, it was a distorted, wide, psychotic grin. "Tomorrow night, I will be you, and you will be me," she hissed, licking and sniffing him, gloating that she had only found 2 people with such strong spirits to possess. The first was herself, Sang, who she had consumed when young, and the second was Khem. Her face transformed into that same pale, withered hag with bloodshot eyes and sharp, drooling teeth. Khem soiled himself in sheer terror, his body seizing until he finally passed out. On the 6th morning, Khem was completely weak, barely able to move. He wanted to tell his parents about Grandma Sang, but she was already there. Khem's hope faded. Grandma Sang continued her deceitful performance, telling Khem he needed to be strong and have mindfulness. Then she turned to him, her face contorting into that monstrous grin, and mockingly repeated, "Mindfulness, the word you used to stop me that night in the tractor. Say it now." It was undeniable. Grandma Sang was the spirit. She tormented Khem throughout the day, physically assaulting him whenever his parents weren't looking, transforming back into a benevolent shaman when they returned. As evening fell,
Grandma Sang, having force-fed Khem, resumed her vigil. The moment his parents left the room and closed the door, she pounced, straddling Khem, her face inches from his. "Tonight, I will be you and you will be me," she snarled, chanting incantations, her putrid saliva dripping on Khem's face. Khem surrendered to despair, expecting death.
But then, a voice, powerful and clear, cut through the darkness. "Nem, stop!" Immediately followed by the chanting of Buddhist monks from outside the house. Grandma Sang, startled, thrashed around, frantically trying to escape. Hearing the commotion, Khem's parents and Cow rushed in, witnessing Grandma Sang attempting to jump out a side window. Her face was fully transformed into the hideous hag. They gasped, "It's not Grandma Sang!" The hag leapt out, running on all fours like a dog, and vanished into the forest. Standing outside was Reverend Monk Dom, the monk who had spoken. He ascended into the house, and seeing Khem's critical state, began chanting and rubbing Khem's head. Reverend Monk Dom immediately asked where Khem had consumed the unholy things. Cow remembered the spot in the deep forest where Khem had been forced to eat. Reverend Monk Dom instructed them to take Khem to that exact spot, as the evil could only be expelled where it entered. The arduous journey through the dense, dark forest with Khem's limp body was agonizing. Once they reached the location, Reverend Monk Dom, without hesitation, used a sacred knife to circle Khem's head, back and down to his feet, chanting all the while. Khem vomited an immense amount of foul, dark, yellow, and black liquid, far more than at Grandma Sang's. The stench was overwhelming, but his friends held him firm. After the ritual, Reverend Monk Dom flicked the energy into the forest, and they heard the distinct sound of something running away. He then took a hot iron rod and tattooed sacred script onto Khem's back, explaining that it would seal his body, preventing any entity from entering. This locking the body was necessary because Khem's strong spirit needed spiritual guidance to be properly used. Reverend Monk Dom then revealed the shocking truth behind the spirit. His own sister, Nim, had been possessed by this very spirit years ago. Like Khem, she had started consuming raw meat and behaved erratically. When she died after 6 days of possession, the spirit simply transferred to another host, a woman named Aunt Cow. And when Aunt Cow died, the spirit moved again, possessing Grandma Sang when she was still young. This spirit was no ordinary spirit. It was a type of malevolent ghost or evil spirit, a spirit with powerful black magic. It actively sought out people with strong spirit to inhabit, as these strong bodies allowed it to prolong its existence and maintain its magical abilities.
The spirit had been biding its time within Grandma Sang, waiting for Khem to reach 15, the age when his strong spirit would fully mature. It knew Khem was immune to its initial scares, which is why it constantly observed him to find his weak point. Once it identified Khem's affection for Paka, it used her as bait, knowing that emotional distress would weaken Khem's formidable, strong spirit. The true hero of this tale, the one who alerted Reverend Monk Dom, was Grandma Pong. Despite being wrongly accused by Grandma Sang as a spirit keeper, Grandma Pong herself practiced white magic and recognized the true evil. She contacted Reverend Monk Dom, who was from another province, ensuring his timely arrival. Khem recovered. He was ordained as a monk for a period, learning how to use Buddhist teachings and his strong spirit to protect himself. He learned to control his inherent spiritual strength and understand the true nature of the supernatural. Today, Khem lives a normal life. He laughs and smiles like anyone else.
However, he still sees ghosts. As a child, he couldn't differentiate between ghosts and people, which is why he chose to remain silent. Now he can tell the difference, but he still chooses not to speak about what he sees. He has learned that revealing his ability can make him a target for spirits seeking help, or worse, for those who don't believe, making him seem insane. He carries the powerful knowledge of his strong spirit and the protection of the sacred tattoo, navigating a world at most cannot perceive. The spirit, which was in Grandma Sang, vanished after Reverend Monk Dam's intervention, and no one in the village saw Grandma Sang again. It is believed that the spirit has simply moved on to find another strong-willed host, continuing its relentless cycle of possession and survival. This story is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most treacherous threats are the ones disguised as our closest protectors. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more of my stories and insights into the supernatural, please subscribe my YouTube channel, P Stories. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join me again for more stories from the darkest corners of reality.